Hi there, it's Denise Eckert, and I love coming on here and sharing different ideas and techniques to help you lower that stress and anxiety in your life. And today I'm joined by Silvia Arayal, a clinical trauma professional with over 15 years of experience helping people heal from anxiety and panic attacks through holistic trauma-informed approaches. Welcome, Silvia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So what
You're
inspired
good.
you to do this work?
My own wounds and my own pain. And I think that's how I started. I started because I had panic attacks when I was in college. Back in college, I was studying psychology, which at the time it made me feel worse about myself. I thought I was the worst psychologist in the world. But I decided to turn it around, and actually it became my banner, it became my path, became everything that I was going to do from that point forward had to do with supporting people with exactly what I was going through.
Now, for someone that's never experienced a panic attack or an anxiety attack, can you describe it for us, please?
Oh, that is one of the toughest questions because it's very hard to describe, first of all, and every person experiences in a different way. And even the same person can have different panic attacks that they come in a different way. So basically is very, very uncomfortable. Before I go into the symptoms, I just want your audience to know that it's not dangerous at all. Believe me, I did the research and I had them for years and I'm still standing, so they're not dangerous. But they basically are symptoms that our body creates in order to, what I believe, is get our attention to tell us something is going on, right? But they feel and they are very real. And that could be from pain here in your elbow to your head to like hot or cold, or feeling like you can't breathe and like pressure on your chest or sweating, trembling. I mean, there's all kinds of things, even thinking that you're going to die or that you're going to go crazy. It's part of the symptoms. So again, it's a very long list. I've heard it all at this point. And again, I can assure you, none of it is dangerous at all. Just very
Now,
uncomfortable.
yeah, I've actually just started experiencing anxiety attacks, and it's whoa. Yeah, it's crazy. I get it actually driving. I have to stay away from the big highways. I have to stay on the smaller highways, and it's so for someone
Amen.
that's listening and want to do something about panic attacks, what are some of the steps that you can do?
Well, the first thing is understanding that it's anxiety or that it's a panic attack, because I think the biggest issue is when we don't know and we really think something is happening to us, and then that creates even more panic and even more fear, right? Because it's like, oh, what's happening? I'm having a heart attack, right? And we really believe that we're having a panic attack, which actually triggers more the alarm and the nervous system, and it's like a cycle almost. And understanding that it's just anxiety and it's just panic will help a lot, because what you described, I've had that too. I've been having trouble driving on highways in the past, or stuck at traffic jams. Oh, that was horrible for me. I would do anything. I would go through like all the different roads, back roads, do crazy things, go for 2 more hours to avoid a bridge or avoid a traffic jam or things like that. And it's a combination of things. So, first of all, understanding nothing is wrong with you. This can be healed. It can, you can go back to the way you were, and then taking the steps into figuring out what is it that your body's telling you, because that's basically what it is. It's a messenger. It's an alarm that it's telling you something is going on. Beep, 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 beep. Something is happening that you haven't addressed. So then it's that time to go inside and look.
Now, for instance, with this driving anxiety, I mean, what would your body be telling you at that point?
To me, and again, every person is different. In my case, I realized that I was pushing myself too hard, that I was getting into that fast, fast, fast pace, running around in life and almost living in a fight or flight state. That's not healthy, and that would totally trigger your alarm at some point, because we're not machines and we can only take so much of adrenaline and cortisol in your body until it tells you, okay, that's too much. And then the other thing that I realized is that, and this is true for me and for a lot of my clients, if I can say most of it too, is that we're very sensitive. That's a component of anxiety and panic attacks, is that we're very sensitive people. And so we don't realize it, but we're going in our lives, maybe stress, maybe with worries, maybe with things. And then on top of that, you hop into the highway, you go into a place where there's a lot of people, and there's this energy of rushing and cutting and doing and going there and doing, and you're absorbing all this and you don't even know. And so all of a sudden you're like, why am I feeling like I can't breathe? I can't, this is too much for me. Like all of a sudden, and it's because sometimes we're just taking on all the energy, all those emotions, all of that from around us. We don't realize it.
That makes a lot of sense because, yeah, like when you're on the highway or stuck in traffic or anywhere that you're confined in a sense, you're taking in all the emotions of everybody around you. And not only is it a negative emotions, but an abundance of emotions that are not yours as well, right?
For sure. Yeah, it's a lot and it's very strong, right? Those two things.
Now, for women entrepreneurs or women that are busy, what are some of the steps that we can take to lower the stress in our life and lower that anxiety in our lives?
I know it's difficult and I'm there. I'm also, I consider myself a woman entrepreneur. I've been in corporate America and doing my own thing and all of the things, right? And I know it's difficult because life basically, it's putting us here in different ways. We have to pay a mortgage. We have a family. There's expectations. I've worked so hard to be here. How am I gonna? So I know it's difficult, but there is a way for us to continue to be thriving in our careers and at the same time taking care of ourselves and listening to our bodies. And for some people, sometimes it means to get out of that completely and choose a different career, a different path, and a different lifestyle. And that is okay. And I just want to say also, it doesn't have to be that way for everyone. You can have a balanced life. You can be successful and thriving and a great leader in your area. And at the same time, taking those moments to take care of your body, listening to your emotions, even just pausing and staring outside your window for a moment. I do that sometimes. I'm working, I'm with emails, I'm with calls, and then I forget, oh, there's a hole outside. Okay, so I just pause. And right now, for example, I'm just going to take a deep breath and look at this beautiful birds of paradise flower that I have outside. Even just that, it's so easy. We just have to start having that conversation with our bodies so we know exactly what we need and we give that our body needs in the right time.
Yeah. Now, why do you think anxiety and the panic is so common with women these days?
I think it's related to what we were talking about. I think there's a lot of pressure to perform, to exceed, to look in a certain way. And especially women, we wear so many hats that it's almost again, we're not machines. What are we doing? Right? It's a lot of pressure for just one human body to take on. So there's this like, I have to be an entrepreneur, I have to be a working mom, and at the same time being a mom, and at the same time holding the household, because most of us, that's the truth, most of us, we're the ones who are cleaning and organizing the home and keeping things together and buying groceries and paying the bills. I don't know. And so especially for women, it's a lot. And it's sad, but we don't have the same support system we used to have back in like with our ancestors. And we lived in tribes and we lived in community and we lived with families. And I had the luxury and I feel so grateful that I still grew up in a family where we were raised as siblings, like all my cousins. We were like siblings, and then my aunts and my uncles were part of the whole experience. And so that helped a lot. But the truth is nowadays families are separated, families are distanced because of physical, right? Physical distance. We live in different countries, or we just don't relate to each other that much. We don't have a relationship. And so that also creates more burden, especially for women. So again, I think going back into community groups, into supporting each other as women, I think that is it's gonna return the health and the sanity back to us if we just start to look after one another.
And do you find that because if you're a leader, whether you have your own business or you have a corporate position, you're a leader at work, you can't really shut it off when you get home and not be the leader. Do you see that with your clients?
I do. And at the same time, like I said, I think that it's possible to have some sort of balance. I see it in my case. I have several businesses. I'm an entrepreneur, but I've had jobs in very high places and my husband too. So in that sense, it's like, who gets to be the leader when we come home?
Yeah.
The answer for us is both. So that's what we do. We're both leaders in our own departments, so to speak. And so that also gives me the opportunity to, again, not do everything, not have to be expected to do every single thing also when I come back home and also have to organize the chores. And also a project manager at home. So again, having that conversation with your loved ones and the people that you share your home with, and realizing I don't have to be this leader everywhere. I can also let myself be supported by others. So that's what I do. I ask my husband to support me many, many times, and I give myself that permission because those are two different steps, asking and also letting that happen. Because that's the tricky part.
Yes, it is. Now, was your relationship like that from the beginning, or is this something that you needed to work on and evolve as time went on?
Both. I would say both. Since when I met my husband, and this is part of what's on my latest book, is that I made a list of all the things that I wanted in a partner. And one of those things was I want someone who has done their inner work, who has emotional intelligence and can meet me there. So from the start, we had these conversations about how do we see our relationship, how do we balance work and home life, all those things. And it also evolves. It evolves because I, for example, have different jobs and different positions, and he has also evolved in his professional career, and so that also takes different balancing because sometimes he's been working from home. We had a period of time where 2.5 years where he was working from home. Oh, that changes the dynamic because he's home now. And I've also had moments where he's not working from home, like right now. He's at his office most of the day. So that also changes the dynamic at home. And so every time that happens, you have to recalibrate, come back, and figure out how to balance each other because again, it's not fair that we get to do everything professionally and also back in our homes and with our families.
And for someone that is struggling with this, I mean, there's a lot of us because a lot of times we don't express how we're feeling and we just let things build up and we don't express to our partners that, yes, I need some help. Whether it's a male or female role, it doesn't really matter. It's, I need some help. And there's different seasons in business too. You could have a launch going on where you're going to be non-existent at home. Are there ways to communicate that with your partner that you recommend?
Yeah, I approach it in a very just sincere and honest way. And again, I've been there too. And I've struggled to ask for help in the past until I completely break down. And then I'm like, yeah, I think I need some help, right?
Yeah.
When I'm almost completely lost it. But again, going back to just listening to your body, being aware of the signals because our bodies and our emotions, our parts are always talking to us. If we're very sensitive and we tune in, we can realize, okay, what is it that I need? What's happening? I feel funny. And then also the part that you're asking about, how do we communicate this, comes from that because if I hear my, let's say, my dialogue, my inner dialogue, and there's a part that says I need a break now, I need someone to take over like now, I would probably then talk to my husband that very same day instead of waiting until the weekend or something like that, right? I would like, okay, we need to talk and we need to talk now. And so we have like these family meetings. That's what I do. I'm like, okay, family meeting, let's sit down because I need to share this with you. And sometimes you can wait, and it's okay to wait for a better time, a better moment, but always And this is how we say it in IFS, internal family systems, speaking not from your parts, but you're speaking on behalf of your parts, right? So not speaking from the emotion, right? But speaking on behalf of the emotion.
My background is European, and we women were taught not to ask for help, and that if we ask for help, we're failing and we're not good enough and all that. So we would work it until we passed out or went to bed crying. And it's so nice that you're doing this type of work and helping people because I find when you're that stressed and you're ready to break down, and I love what you say that you should be asking yourself, what do you need? That you've waited to that point where you're breaking down. You need to get rid of that. Asking for help is failure. It's like, I remember when my father came home, it was like everything had to be perfect. But my mom also worked. It was like her job didn't matter. She did the books and she did all the payroll and stuff for the company. And she took care of us and took care of the house. And he came home to a nice hot meal. And then when she was stressed, she would let it out on us.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's nice to see that you're showing people that to talk, to ask yourself what you need. And yeah, can you talk a little bit more about that? I think that's really important.
Yeah, it really is important. And I grew up in a very similar environment. So I grew up in Latin America. And in Latin America, especially in my family, my community, my town, it's still very matriarchal in the sense that women are the center, the leaders of the families, and also means that we get to do everything. Same thing. So I grew up in a family where when we had the big parties or Christmas or Mother's Day or whatever, my aunts were the ones who were cooking since 5 a.m. And then when the party was there, they were serving the plates, they were washing the plates, and my uncles were just sitting there smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
Basically, that was the whole that you can imagine. Yeah, that was the scene. And my grandfather was the same thing. He would come to work and he had to have his meal, he had to eat first, he had to have things in a certain order, right? So I grew up in that environment. And I see how that affected my mom and my aunts and the women in my family. And I just remember thinking, I don't want that for myself because they're tired. They never enjoy, even though they say, oh, yeah, I had a great, yeah. You had fun, of course, because we were all there. And of course, you enjoy being around family. But did you really enjoy it? Did you really sit down and just had a lovely conversation with someone? Not really, because they were back in the kitchen. I remember thinking, I don't want that for myself. And even though I still have a little bit of that programming going on, it's part of my path to notice when I'm doing it again, when notice when that wants to come back, and then talk to myself and go, no, 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 we don't have to do that anymore. Remember, we can do it this other way. And it's process. It's not something that switches from today till tomorrow. It's something that you have to do every single day. It's something that you continue to choose one time after the other. And sometimes I forget, and then I realize I have a migraine, and okay, here we go. I again push myself too much. But okay, but I'll be better next time. I'll try next time to catch it earlier. And so again, it's just a process. So just keep doing it until it comes naturally.
Yeah, it's creating that awareness. And just listening to you it's funny. I go to my aunt's for Christmas who's 86. And because of just the way the family is, she does Christmas Eve, Christmas Day by herself. I've tried to help her with things, and I was allowed to set the table last year once. I was like
They don't let
86
you.
years
They
old.
don't. I know. It's
And then
so
it's
ingrained. Yeah.
and it's like, well, I need to sit down after, kidding, you need to sit down. Not I want to sit down. It's I need to sit down right now. It's just crazy how we've been taught to think. And I love that things have changed. And basically, anybody listening, when you start feeling a little anxiety or start feeling stress, ask yourself, what do you need? And who do you need it from?
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
need to
Because
do everything.
you don't. And again, they didn't have that opportunity. We're living in a very special time right now in humanity, I think, because we have all this information and resources and tools. I don't think that my grandmother, rest her soul, she passed away in March this year. She never had that opportunity to ask herself, what do I need? I mean, she had 13 kids
Wow.
and a husband. And so again, yeah, so it's a privilege right now to have those moments to stop and say, what do I need? And sometimes I say, yeah, I need to sit down, like I said, or you know what? I need a catering service.
Yeah.
Because in reality, I don't want to do this, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So I understand you have a free video series that you've got available for the audience here today. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I love tapping, EFT tapping. It's one of the tools that I use for myself almost every day. And so I put a little video together, it's 8 or 9 minutes long, and I just go through the sequence of tapping for people who've never seen it or practiced it before. I basically do a guided sequence. It's mostly for anxiety and trauma, fear, but you can use it for everything. Really, tapping is for everything. So yeah, it's just a little resource there so you can do it by yourself in the mornings, at night, whatever you need.
So how does tapping reduce anxiety in us?
It does several things, and I'm not an expert. I'm just gonna say the way I understand it. It works in a different in different ways because it touches certain parts of the body that are energetic points. And those points are connected not only energetically, but also to our nervous system. So when you tap on those specific points, you're basically talking to your nervous system, right? And you're saying, okay, it's okay, right? I'm here. And then you accompany that with affirmations. So that's why I'm saying like, it takes different things in one, right? Because it's the touching of the points, which again, it's for your nervous system and your energetic system, body as well. Then the affirmations work on your parts. They hear it, they listen that those encouraging positive words. And then also there's breathing involved because once you finish a sequence, you're invited to take a deep breath or two. And so it works on all those levels.
I love that. I'm a big tapping person as well. I'm a tapping
Oh,
practitioner as well. And I think, and it just interrupts what you're going through too. If you are dealing with stress, and it's quick. It doesn't take long to change
it's
everything.
quick. It's quick, it's free. You can even do it in your car if you're sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
Actually, you should do it. That would probably help a lot.
Exactly. So we're going to be wrapping this up. So Sylvia, what are your final words of wisdom to the audience today?
Wow, that's a wow. Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Was it? Yeah, words of wisdom. I think what I've learned throughout my whole path, my personal path, and also with my clients is that the more you develop a relationship with yourself, the richer your life gets and the more abundance and health and peace you invite. Because again, you're the person who's going to be there with you your whole life, whether you like it or not. I see it as your roommate. So this is a person you're going to have to share the room with. That maybe we should start getting along and talk to each other and see what's happening. And again, ask what I need and what's going on in my life. And does this feel good for me or not? And so that would be, I think, my words of wisdom for today is just cultivate, develop, start. Even if you haven't started, it doesn't matter. Start today, that relationship with yourself.
I love that. And that is so important. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And wherever you're watching or listening, I will have Sylvia's information and her free tapping. So if you have any questions, please reach out and feel free to ask Sylvia your questions. Thank you for your time today. It was wonderful. And I'm just leaving you a reminder to slow down and enjoy life. And I'll see you in the next episode.